All right, let's dive into one of the most feared parts of the IB diploma, the theory of knowledge essay. You hear those words, and yeah, the panic starts to set in, right? It's high stakes, it sounds super abstract, and it just feels like this impossible mountain you have to climb. Trust me, we've all been there. But here's the thing, it's not a mountain, it's a puzzle. And you know what? Like any good puzzle, it has a solution. The TOK essay isn't about having some flash of philosophical genius. It's about following a very clear, very strategic playbook. And that is exactly what we're going to do. My promise to you is that by the end of this explainer, you are going to have the complete game plan to write an essay that has confidence, that has clarity, and that really impresses. So, let's start with the big question. What is this essay actually asking of you? It's really not as mysterious as it seems. The entire essay, and I mean the entire thing, hinges on this one concept, the knowledge question, or the KQ. Your job isn't to just answer some simple question with facts. It's to explore a big, open-ended question about how we know what we claim to know. And this just nails the difference, doesn't it? A weak question asks what? A strong, top-scoring question asks how or to what extent. You see that shift? It's moving from just describing something to actually analyzing it. And that shift is where all the high marks are hiding. Okay, now for the really good stuff. We're going to peek behind the curtain, right into the examiner's mind. The IB is actually super clear about what they're looking for, and it all boils down to 4 keys that will unlock a top score. And here it is. This is basically the official rubric decoded. Think of it as the examiner's checklist. Every single point you earn is tied directly to these 4 criteria. If you master them, you master the essay. Simple as that. First up, the KQ. Look, it's not enough to just state your question in the intro and then forget about it. A high-scoring essay uses that knowledge question like a compass, constantly linking back to it, exploring the title from all these different angles. Second, your analysis. And honestly, this is where so many students get tripped up. A low-scoring essay just describes things. A high-scoring essay evaluates. It makes a claim, and then, this is so crucial, it explores a counterclaim, weighing different perspectives against each other. This is exactly what top-level analysis looks like. Instead of just saying, oh, doubt is important, a great essay digs into its dual nature. How can doubt be a huge driver of progress in science, but also a massive barrier to knowledge when you get into things like conspiracy theories? That's nuance. That's analysis. Third, your evidence. You gotta believe me, examiners see the same old generic examples over and over and over again. They are desperate for specific, real-life examples that you analyze deeply. It's not about how many examples you have, it's all about the depth. One brilliant, well-explained example is worth way more than 5 shallow ones. Okay, so we know what the examiners want. Now let's build the how. This is your practical, step-by-step game plan for actually putting together a killer argument. First things first, choose your areas of knowledge. These are just the big buckets we put knowledge into, like the sciences, arts, or history. And that pro tip on the screen, that is pure gold. Pick AOKs you actually study in your other IB classes. Why? Because you already have a whole arsenal of specific, detailed examples ready to go. You might want to screenshot this slide because this is your repeatable formula for success. Every single body paragraph should follow this structure. You start with a specific example, like Duchamp's fountain. You connect it to a TOK concept, you analyze what it's really telling us, and then you briefly bring in a mini counterpoint. This structure literally forces you to be analytical, not just descriptive. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Won't adding a counterclaim weaken my argument? And the answer is a huge no. It's actually the opposite. It shows the examiner that you're a sophisticated thinker, that you get the complexity of knowledge. It's a sign of confidence, and it is absolutely critical for getting into that top mark band. We're in the home stretch. You've got the structure, you've got the strategy. Now let's just cover some of the most common traps that students fall into so you can sidestep them and really polish your essay to perfection. First step, the word count. It's not just a suggestion, okay? It's a guide to depth. Essays that are too short, under 1,200 words, they almost always lack detailed analysis. And ones that go way over 1,600 words, they tend to lose focus. You want to aim for that sweet spot. Please take a good look at this list. These are the giant red flags for examiners. Avoid those huge, vague statements. If you use a TOK term like justification or bias, you have to explain what you mean by it in that context.
Always remember, argue, don't just describe. And finally, your conclusion has to do more than just repeat what you've already said.
And that's because your conclusion is your final chance to impress. It's your mic drop moment. It's where you show the examiner what you've learned through this whole process. So reflect on the implications of your argument, bring together the insights from your different AOKs, and leave them with one final powerful thought. Which brings us right here to our final thought. A good essay might argue that numbers are an amazing tool for knowing things, but a truly great essay's conclusion might leave us with a question just like this. And that perfectly captures the whole spirit of TOK, always pushing the boundaries of what we know and how we know it. Now go write that killer essay.